Hello, everybody. I'm Mario Linares, and I'm broadcasting from Rio de Janeiro. And I've got on the other side of the line Dr. Florian Kongoli, broadcasting directly from Geneva, Switzerland, from the headquarters of the United Nations office in Geneva, where he is participating at the opening of the International Year of Glass, and he's going to have a lecture about sustainability framework. Good afternoon, Dr. Florian. It's
Yes,
2:20 in Geneva, right?
it's 3:20 p.m. in Geneva. Yes, and it's
3:20 or
about
2:20?
3:20.
3:20. Oh, yeah, 3:20. Sorry. My math is not so good. You're the scientist. I'm a journalist, so I'm not so
Well,
good in math as you are.
what's the time in Rio?
Well, in Rio now it's 11:20. It's a cloudy day here. It doesn't compare to this beautiful blue sky you have there. What's the temperature in Geneva now?
It's about 14 degrees Celsius plus.
Wow, great. So it's a great winter in Switzerland, huh?
Yeah, well, it seems so. Just
As I
waiting
said, you're
for
great.
me for my visit.
Yeah, that's it. You are a bringer of good weather always. Wherever you go, you have blue sky.
I
I have
guess
to
so.
bring it to Rio because it's been very rainy these days here. It
Yeah.
doesn't
Well,
match the city.
next
But
month
tell
I'll
us a
be
little
there.
bit about tell us a little bit about your lecture. It's going to be tomorrow, right?
Yes, it will be tomorrow, 11:20 local time. But you see, this is a United Nation Year of Glass. So
Hmm.
it's the first time when United Nations opens to a scientific matter. Glass is a sustainable material. It's a sustainable material, and as such, uh, 2022 has been considered United Nation Year of Glass,
I
2022.
see.
So this is the opening ceremony. That's why we are in Geneva at Palais des Nations, Palace of Nations.
Uh huh.
This was built for in 1929, and it was for League of Nations. You know, it was.
Oh, even before the creation of the United Nations.
Oh yes, this was the first before the United Nations started. This was a League
I
of
see.
Nations. A League of Nations. It was until the end of the World War II. It was found not as successful as it was, and that's why they replaced it by United Nations. So League of Nations about 10 years life. It was found not it was not good because it didn't prohibit and it didn't was not able to prevent the First World War, second First World War. That's why we created
Hmm.
the United Nations after the Second World War. So this is the
I
history.
see.
So this was actually the first headquarters of League of Nations. And after the creation
Hmm.
of United Nations, this became United Nations headquarters of Europe. So it's the second major headquarters after United Nations. And
I see.
many of the international offices are run from here.
I
And
see.
what is interesting is that the director of the United Nations office in Geneva here,
Hmm.
it is a Russian woman, if I
I see,
remember correct,
Florian.
Pavlina. I don't remember the name, but
Hmm.
so you see many people here when you walk. They are Russian because some of people from administration are from Russia.
Uh huh.
Uh, But to return to is the first time United Nations dedicate a year to a
Hmm.
scientific subject, and this is very significant. After a lot of lobbying, after a lot of work, this was the year of glass. Why? Because glass is sustainable, it's recyclable, application is everywhere. That's why I'm invited here. I'm invited here to speak about sustainability through science and technology, especially at this time where there is an energy crisis.
I see. I see.
Glass industry is also in a bad position because the prices of energy. So it's a critical time, but it's also a good time because science is being recognized. That's what we have been trying and fighting for so long time. You know this.
I see.
And here we are at the Flags Alley.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place there. It's a beautiful place. But before we talk about the flags, because I'm going to ask you to walk around and show us around. Can you do it?
If the internet and will allow us, we can do that.
Yeah, let's try it. If it gets bumpy, we look for a better place. But I think it's a unique opportunity.
Yes,
you have the flags of 194 countries there.
194 flags.
How many?
194 flags.
194 flags, yes. These are the member states of the United Nations, right?
Yes, yes.
Great, great. Just a curiosity, the first Secretary General of the United Nations was Brazilian, Osvaldo Aranha. He was responsible for creating the United Nations for this format we have now. That was inspired in another Brazilian, our second emperor in the 19th century, Peter II, who created the Confederation of Peter I that mediated many international conflicts around the world. And one of them, the most famous, was the recognition of the American independence by Great Britain. Yes. And so Brazil has a very strong diplomatic tradition. But this is just a curiosity. I would like you to tell us a little bit, if you can, of course. If you can, of course, I would like you to tell us a little bit about your lecture tomorrow. Can you give us a glimpse of what is coming forward?
Well, without exposing too much, it will be broadcasted live, by the way, in the United Nations TV. We're going to give the link. It's about the new framework, FLOGEN sustainability framework, and what's the role of science and technology in developing sustainability, in achieving sustainability. The role of science has been overlooked and still is overlooked. So we are, that's the lecture is about.
Yes.
So without going in details, about half an hour lecture. It will broadcast live on United Nations TV channel. And we will send a link to all our network that they can watch live, or at their convenience, it will be there to be watched later.
Great. And even as a comment, a documentary about you is being produced, and these images are going to be like the closing part of the documentary, because it is very interesting and it's a recognition, an official recognition of your role in science and in sustainability. And I'm going to be very honest, I feel much more comfortable to have sustainability discussed in the United Nations by a scientist, not by a kid. Yes. Because I think it's much more productive and effective to have science helping people than to have like an angry kid saying that somebody ruined her childhood.
Well, everybody is important. The issue is,
yes, of course,
the biggest effect that on sustainability is science and technology. So all other measures are good. Everything is important. All methods that are being used are important, but the effect and efficiency of science and technology achieving the goals, that's a different story. It's much higher than the others. So that's why we have to start with science and technology. So I'm going around the flags here. You see the United Nations in the background.
Yeah, beautiful. Nations Unies. That's beautiful. It's fantastic. The Geneva office is one of the four main offices of the United Nations, if I'm not wrong. It's New York, Geneva, and two other ones.
Oh, it's
But
the second after New York.
the second after New York, right?
Yes.
You have the National Assembly in New York, and then there it's like where most of the work is done, right? The technical work is done.
Technical work. It's several meetings during various parts. I mean, during especially in the summer, number of meetings are as far as I remember about 2,000 per year. 2,000 per year. So, but again, this is a different meeting. It's the first time. This is the first time. It's a joint United Nations and a scientific subject. This is very significant. Very significant.
Do you think this is a landmark on sustainability to look for? I mean, officially look for scientists to find a solution, to try and find a solution to make industry more sustainable. Do you think this is the real way of reaching sustainability?
Well, this it is, but it's not easy because this is what we are doing. This is what we are raising the awareness around the world, and this is how it should be. It's not there yet. It's a lot of work to be done, and that's what we try. This is just a start. This is just a start.
I see.
So basically, this is an opening ceremony, and it is opening ceremony at the Human Rights Hall at Geneva United Nations Palace. So imagine it is an opening ceremony of Year of Glass, United Nations Year of Glass ceremony at the Human Rights Hall, meeting hall.
Great.
There are some constructions here in the background.
Is sustainability a human right, Dr. Florian? I mean, is the right building for that? Is it the right building for that?
Yes, it is, because that's the future.
That's the future,
right?
The
future generation have the right to, the future generation have the right to have a good life.
I see.
But we should not forget the current generation have to have a high quality of life also, and that's sustainability. If we forget that, we are not sustainable.
Yeah, I remember that once you mentioned in a lecture I had, I think it was the first lecture I had, one of the first lectures of yours that I had the opportunity to attend, is that you say the most sustainable thing that human beings could do theoretically were to commit mass suicide, right? Then nobody would leave a carbon footprint.
Well,
that's not possible, right?
This is not
an option.
This is well, not according to an author that published a couple of years ago a book. His conclusion was we cannot really do anymore anything. Nothing is left for us to done. We are too late. The only way to save the world is to kill ourselves.
Wow, it's incredible. It's incredible.
Well, it's a book published in the States, United States, and still is available to be read. Somebody who likes the idea, they can go and read it.
It's incredible. We are going to.
That's his conclusion. If we don't have babies, we don't spend energy. If we don't live, we don't spend fuel. So the best way to save the world, we should commit suicide. And according to him, that's the solution for a greener world in the future. And I'm not joking here. The book is available. I'm gonna mention this book in the presentation tomorrow.
Great. We are going to leave the name of the book in the comments later here.
So this is not for us. This is not sustainable.
No, totally not. I don't intend to kill myself to make the world more sustainable.
Well, this is the way. So this is sustainability has 3 criteria. Has to be fulfilled simultaneously. One of those is development of society. A development of society is quality of life of the current people. and that is very
Uh-huh.
important. So if you don't achieve that, you are not sustainable. Well, it's not only that. In another meeting in India that I participated about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, one of the
Mm-hmm.
conclusions of the Indian scientists was that in order really to be sustainable, there is no way anymore. Just we have to return back 800 years
I
to be in
see.
peace with the nature, and then this is the only way to be sustainable. These theories exist. We are not there. We don't agree with those. They are completely different.
I
And
see.
this kind of issues will be uh, will be treated in my presentation tomorrow. Not so long; it's a half an hour presentation, but this will be treated there.
I see. I see. Uh, and let me ask you another question about this subject. You said that glass plays a very important role in sustainability because it's fully recyclable. And do you think we should use less plastic and start using more glasses? Because I remember when I was a kid, it was very difficult. It was very rare to see like a plastic bottle. Most of the bottles were plastic, were made of glass.
Glass,
Yes,
glass.
yeah, and now it's almost. I mean, most soft drinks and mineral water and whatever are bottled in plastic or PET bottles. Yes,
Well,
and
you know,
they're
yeah.
very degrading to the environment. What's your opinion about this? Is there a real possibility of having this change in the industry?
Well, it's not really. You cannot really come up with a definite answer on this, because if some plastic are not recyclable, uh, that's not true.
I see.
Science has not gone there yet to be recycled and in a sustainable way, feasible way,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And this is a huge field of research coming.
I see.
So
I see.
plastic, as any other materials, can be recycled.
I see.
Uh, well, that's not the case with glass. Glass, there is no difficulty in recycling. That's why, for the
Uh-huh.
moment, it's more sustainable. But I do not see any reason why plastic cannot be recyclable. Sure, some type of plastics cannot be recycled economically, meaning in a feasible way. Why? Because the
Uh-huh.
technology is not yet there. So each material has its own place. So
Mm-hmm.
if we are not able to recycle some, this is not because it's not sustainable, because the science has not had enough opportunity or enough money to develop the technologies of certain being feasible and making 100% recycle. The same thing is with nuclear reactors. One of the reasons that
Mm-hmm.
people are against them is the waste. Is the waste. They say that the waste is um, uh, constitute a risk. Actually, it's
I
not the
see.
case. If we are able to recycle the risk, the sorry, if we are able to recycle the waste,
I
the
see.
nuclear waste, that
Uh-huh.
is the purest greener energy, clean energy that you can have, and it is actually clean energy right now. The only thing is that the waste, and there is a risk, but the risk and the waste
Yes.
doesn't make a technology less green. It's science and technology develop the ways of recycling.
I
and
see.
this
I
way and
see.
this way we make them for the moment some type of plastics are not able to be recycled sustainably, I mean feasibly.
I
So you
see.
can have a recycling technology, but if it is not economically feasible, then it's not worth
Uh-huh.
using it. It's better landfill it. If it is because you waste more and you do not produce, you don't achieve the goal. So these are
I see.
challenges of science and technology. That's why science and technology is so important. The impact is big, efficiency is high. So this is the point. This is the point. If uh, science and technology can remove the risk of nuclear reactors and make the waste fully recyclable, can make the plastics fully recyclable, even those that cannot be recycled today. Glass is recyclable as it is and constitutes and has no problems on it. But there is huge work. For example, the glass industry today, it is in difficulty. Why? Because the cost of energy that requires producing of glass containers is high.
I see. I see.
We are actually in energy crisis. The prices have been doubled, tripled, but the energy, the natural gas, and other techniques used in producing the glass increase their price in a certain way that sometimes make producing glass makes it doubtful. Make it doubtful really because the cost is so high, and some companies say that okay, it doesn't really make sense anymore to produce glass because the price is so high, and we cannot sell with we cannot pass the price to the consumer. So the industry is at the crossroad because of the higher prices. And then what's the solution here? So the solution is through science and technology again. This is not the first time the price of energy is going up. But there are ways of switching the energy.
I see.
To hydrogen that we are working with. Switching to hydrogen, switching to different ways of producing energy. Or. This is one way. The other way is improving the system through control and automation, and cutting the energy in half, in third, which is doable. And we have so much successes on this in various fields, including the glass industry.
You've mentioned automation
technology. Yeah.
You've mentioned automation. You are a bestseller. I mean, you've got a book called Automation that has been published, and you've distributed over 80,000 copies of it, isn't it?
Well, I guess if you can check, as of today, it's 85,000. I guess
85,000, right? The last time I saw was like 80 something. I didn't know it had reached 85,000.
Yeah,
and even Professor Donna, I forgot her last name.
Donna Nelson.
Donna Nelson, exactly.
President of American Chemical Society.
Exactly. She says you're a superstar of science because of this book. Very few scientists publish 85,000 books. I mean, have 85,000 books distributed.
Yeah.
How do you see that?
It's a success. It's a real success. 85,000 books distributed.
On a scientific book, we're talking about scientific book. It would be good for any book, but I mean specifically scientific books. Very few scientific books cross that mark.
No, very few. And this is for a short time. The book was published in 2012, meaning it's about less than 10 years.
Yeah, less than 10 years for sure. So, and this is one of the reasons why you're at the United Nations today, right? I mean, I don't think, I think very few things can top that.
Yeah, one of the reasons. That's our work on sustainability, our work on decreasing energy, the book on automation. But automation is one way. That's why automation is sustainable. There are many, I don't want to expose my lecture tomorrow. But there are many people around the world.
I'm sorry. I don't want any spoilers.
Well, yes? I can say something. Many people around the world are against automation. Why? The reason is that it takes away job from people.
I see.
And so increase the. Well, it is partially true. Sure, that people that work on routine job that are replaced by automation. Sure that. Those jobs will disappear because robots will take care of those. But we are speaking for routine jobs.
And
So
routine and more dangerous jobs, right? Like working on
correctly. So
coal
it is
mines and
even
things
good
like
for
this.
safety. It's good for safety also.
Yes.
So if you replace by automation, some part of the job will disappear. But this is this opens the field that these employees are replaced in different types of jobs that are more innovative. They are not routine. So it directs all types of jobs in an innovative way. So
I see.
everything that is routine is taken care of by automation, by robot, and this frees the space for people to deal always with innovation. Again, robots and automation do not do not innovate. It's human mind who innovates.
Yes, of course.
So
Behind the robot, there are at least 10 professionals, right?
yeah,
Making
could
it
be more,
work.
could be, yeah,
No, no,
sure,
I
but
mean,
it will need
yeah.
it will
So
it
it
will, it
generates
will
jobs. It doesn't take jobs away.
no, because well, that's why I said relatively true. It's not true 100%. It's a short view, and it's very bad that this view is being even from some academics, not in the scientific field, but in other fields like in
In
economy,
social fields, right?
some
Yeah.
social fields, etc.,
Yeah.
etc. Coming up with articles in New York Times telling, look how automation kills the middle class. That's
Yeah.
one of the titles, headlines in the New York Times some years ago, which we completely disagree. But these people, this is a local view. They miss the global point of view. So automation is that's we came here because of your question, of your
Yeah.
question. You just mentioned it.
One thing about this, correct me if I'm mistaken, because you're the specialist, but automation generate highly qualified jobs and it eliminates the lower qualified jobs, isn't it?
That's perfectly in different words. What I said
So we
is
need to invest in
automation.
education. We need to invest in the
That
academy.
is
We
the
need
role of the government to take care of those
uh-huh.
people that lose their job because the robots take over, and then they can relocate it. They can re-educate it, even for free. It's
I
worth it.
see.
Even the government can provide for free education in different professions to those people for free from the tax line.
I
For free,
see.
when I say is the taxes, they pay for that. Why?
Of
Because
course.
it's long term. It's a long term, benefit. Long term benefit. So
I see.
automation, by replacing the routine work with more innovative works, this increases the efficiency and the number of innovation around the world. People will work to invent new things instead of doing routine things, and this is
Good.
huge.
I see.
That's why
Dr. Florian.
automation is sustainable, and we disagree completely with those authors that publish. And actually, unfortunately, they are well-known academics in economy. Some of them, not all. I'm not speaking for all, but some of them
Of
that
course.
write these articles and they say automation is against middle class, etc. It's killing the middle class. This has been going on forever in the entire history of humankind, and still we see that automation is going one of the best areas to work. That's why the book automation you mentioned, it has 85,000 distribution just as today, I guess. I think it has reached today by coincidence. If you can check, I didn't check it, but when I checked
I'm
a
going
couple
to
of days
check on
ago,
on the next
it was
slide we have
almost
here.
almost at 85.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a good coincidence. Probably it's 85 today. I didn't check it.
Yeah. On the next slide,
85,000.
we're going to bring this
85,000.
information. Yeah, we're going to broadcast live later and tomorrow. And I would like to invite everybody who's watching this live first. If you're watching on Facebook, just like the fan page, FLOGEN Stars. And if you are watching by YouTube, do the same. Just like the channel and the video. Leave your comment. It's a pleasure having you guys here. And if you have more
Just,
information,
just,
go to
just to say,
flogen.org.
just to
But
very important thing. So, when you see
yes,
this scene here, United Nations, okay, flags around the world. Have you ever seen
Yes.
any scientific subject discussed here? Rarely. This is the first time. So when you see United Nations with the flags, you think about
Yeah.
politics, you think about economy, you think about anything, you name it. Never for science and technologies. And this is something really something good to happen.
Yeah,
So
and
we
one
are
thing you
as
say,
the
you,
United.
you mentioned politics, you mentioned economy, and you mentioned science. It's basically what you have in this framework, right? You have the
The FLOGEN for sustainability framework will be also part of my. Actually, this is the main point of my presentation. This is I
I
have been
see.
invited to, because the definition of sustainability has been so confusing. Has been so
Uh-huh.
confusing because everybody wanted to put there everything. Well, they had the subject in mind. They were in love with the subject, and they wanted to include in the concept of sustainability.
I
Nothing is
see.
wrong about that, because all subjects again are important. But this created a huge confusion in literature, because the criteria, the actors were mixed in such a way that it was very difficult really to have a concentrated and impacted view on sustainability. So everything goes. Somebody was saying, okay, let's put the human rights there. Let's put the indigenous rights. Let's put the society. Let's put the culture. Let's put the government. So you are not able to see, are those criteria? Are those actors? Then our definition is it's simple and all inclusive, and it doesn't leave any space for misconceptions and misinterpretation. It's pretty clear, that puts in a table of three legs everything.
Yeah, one thing you've talked about this, I was thinking here about the about SIPS, yes, Sustainable Industrial Processing Summit and Exhibition that you've been organizing and you've been curating for almost 2 decades now. Yes, the first
Yeah.
one was in 2003. So this year it's
Yeah.
going to be like 19 years, the 20th year
Next year.
of SIPS. Yes,
Yeah.
and we're talking about glass now. But I remember that the last SIPS in Cyprus, I was very impressed with the presentation that talked about recycling lead used in car batteries. Yes, that is something very polluting. Lead is a very polluting material,
Yes.
and things like this recycled lead battery, and also glass and other things that are part of the sustainability through industry represent a great deal in our planet. Yes, because most of our pollution is industrial. If we reduce
Yes. Well,
this,
it is a lead pollution. So if we
yes,
go with, well, this is a different kind of related but different subject. So if lead is dangerous, the easy solution is don't use lead anymore.
uh-huh,
If nuclear reactor are dangerous, some of let's cut them, shut them down. And some of the countries in Europe did that, and now they
uh-huh.
are one of the reason of energy crisis today is exactly that. Not
I see.
you, you cannot shut down. You cannot shut down. Just you cannot take the criteria of risk for any technology and tell them, okay, let's shut it down.
I see.
Take the mobile phones. Take the mobile phones. So
Hmm.
it was a time that people were saying we don't need anymore because we are spending too much time. The young generation are using them in a very different. They're spending too much time on those, so don't use them anymore.
I
So
see.
what's the solution? Let's shut down. No more mobiles because of this risk, which is not the case. That's what happened with the
Yeah.
nuclear reactors. There is a risk, shut them down. That's not the way. It's science finds a solution. Science finds a solution. and they make it. So that's why iPhone is putting so many features today to count how many hours you are on the iPhone, how many hours, even features that telling you that the volume in your ear has been too high, and so you have to decrease it down. So this is science, science, science. You know, this is, you cannot shut down the world because there is a risk. Okay, there is a risk on electricity. If you touch it, you are dead. Doesn't mean that we shouldn't use
That's a great example. That's a great example. Well, we would become Amishes, right?
Science and that. So I think they are calling me, and I think I have to return to the lectures.
Okay. It was a pleasure talking to you. Today and tomorrow we're going to have some other lives, so keep posted, everybody. And Dr. Florian, thank you very much. I would like to talk more about SIPs, yes? And I'm going to suggest everybody, if you want more information, go to flogen.org/SIPs 2022 for more information. The largest show on sustainability in industry in the world. So, Dr. Florian, thank you very much for your participation here. Thank you very much for this chat with us.
We'll be again, probably today, to the highest jet water in the world, or tomorrow, and during the lecture tomorrow.
Very good. This is it.
Those 2 days. It's a very significant 2 days, because where politics and science are jointly working together, and which is not really something that happens every day.
That's it. So science, politics, and economy together make a better world, a more sustainable world with technology, not depriving yourself from technology. So let's everybody work together in order to get a better world through science. I'm Mario Linares, and I'm broadcasting from Rio de Janeiro, saying goodbye to everybody, and especially to Dr. Florian from Geneva in Switzerland. See you later, Dr. Florian.
See you later, Mario.
Bye-bye, everybody. See you soon.